Good evening, it's Monday evening, just a bit of a flying visit really at the allotment today. I've got some stuff I need to do at home tonight, so just called top up the water on a couple of things that obviously I haven't been down since Friday. Some of the plants are still looking okay, but another cucumber there, I'll probably pick that on Wednesday. But I'm not holding up much hope for these two that I transplanted. They don't look very happy at all. I suspect blight had probably already got hold of them, so I might have to bring them other two down from home. Them bush ones I've still got in the greenhouse. So I'll give stuff in here, things that needed it, a bit of a water. Well, it was raining this morning, it's stayed relatively dry all day, so and I think the weather's pretty good for the next couple of days. So I'm not even going to try and rake any of this up yet that I chopped the other day. I need to bring my loppers down and cut some of them a bit better. If this can sit outside in the nice, on the warm or dry weather for a day or two, it'll just die off a lot quicker while it's spread thin. I can just rake it all up and get it into the incinerator. I'm going to try leaving the cover off one of these. Looks like slugs or something have been absolutely battering this, but see, the leeks look like they're certainly improving from what they were when I planted them. I have a few little nettle seedlings and stuff I'll have to root out of there. Excuse me. I'll leave the cover on that one a little bit longer. I just want to see if the rabbit starts eating these leeks again. And leeks and squashes don't look too bad. A little bit of growth out of that beetroot there, but that one's not doing anything. The red onions I planted the earliest are still forming up some nice bulbs, so they might be alright. They retained a bit of stalk on them. But those others in there just not doing anything. Well, that beetroot's recovered a bit. Never actually got the potato trimmed, but I'll leave that till Wednesday now. But again, all that in there is sort of dying back, so I'll be able to get all that scraped out and rake it all out and cut some of it up, the woody bits, a bit further, and get them in the incinerator. Another plane. So like I say, just a quick visit for tonight. I'll be back here on Wednesday. Good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. It's Wednesday afternoon, called after work, obviously just in my greenhouse. Just harvested another pretty decent cucumber there. There's a few of the sun gold and these yellow sweet tomatoes ready to pick. So there's a couple more cucumbers on there hiding in the background to fill out. Some more forming on the stem. These two tomatoes I transplanted, I think they'll be going in the incinerator in a bit. They've just completely died. Top growth on this is clean-ish. I might see what happens with that yet. That one looks fine. Even the black cherry doesn't look too bad. Bit more pruning needed on this bush one. I'll have a go at that in a bit. I think it was raining a bit damp this morning, but it's been dry the rest of the day, so a lot of the stuff I pruned or trimmed I should say has all died back, so I'll give this a rake up. Pretty sure the rabbit's still about in here, as I came in from the other side of that sort of where the gooseberries are. I heard a thump and something scarper off. Didn't see it, but I'm pretty sure it's still in here. So I'm going to dig out the woody bits first. Get the woody bits in the incinerator at the bottom. That'll allow air in at the bottom, and that'll be easier to light when I light it in maybe another week or something. Let it all dry out. Brought some cardboard and some kitchen waste to go in the compost as well. I'm sort of looking down as I walk, and I tend to tip the phone down. Amazing. Well, you possibly, if you watched the last video and you saw how much taller the grass was in there, and I've temperature probed it. There's still a fair bit of heat coming off that. I'm not going to put my hand in all that rotten stuff, but it's amazing how quick it all breaks down. So I'll get the cardboard in there, tip the fresh kitchen waste in, and I'll bring you back in a bit. That's the easy bit done. So probably have a look in here again on Friday. It'll be a flying visit on Friday. I've got a medical appointment again Friday afternoon, but I'll possibly call, and depends what time. I'll have to look what time the appointment is, but I might nip by just have some lunch here. So we'll check in on that, see how quickly it started decomposing. I need to attack out of a hazel hedge at the front of my house. Currently it sort of rustles all the time as the squirrels are rifling through it looking for hazelnuts. So as soon as they're finished, I need to trim a load of that again and get it through the shredder. So there'll be some of that going in, and there's a bunch of comfrey just in front of that shed. This side of that shed is mine, so I'll be harvesting that comfrey to put in the compost. There's a bit more comfrey over there, so just cut that up and pile it in. It makes fantastic compost. It's also pretty good if you wrap it in I don't know, I guess an old pillowcase would probably work, some sort of net sack, suspend it in a container of water, and you make like a comfrey tea, which is a brilliant liquid feed for your tomatoes and other plants. I mean, you can do the same with nettles if you can be bothered harvesting them, and let them sort of break down in a tub of water for a while. So I'll carry on with a bit of this raking and bring you back shortly. Another plane heading out. I've had a good rake out in this area. Still got the bit on the other side of these gooseberry bushes to do. It's gone 6:30 now. I feel my knee starting to lock up, so that'll have to do for today. I've cut the potatoes back, there in the incinerator, and probably about a third full. Got quite a nice pile here to dry off and break down a bit. Just noticed when I took the tops out of these potatoes, something's been up in the top of here having a mooch around and digging up potatoes and nibbling on them. So I don't know if that's the rabbit, or maybe that was the thud I heard, the rabbit jumping out the tyre. So they can jump quite high, rabbits. I've not seen rabbits eat potato though. It's more likely to be a mouse or a rat, but we shall see. But I mean, if there's potatoes that close to the top, it's a good sign that there's, look at them, good sign that there's an awful lot of potatoes probably in this tyre stack, considering the root potatoes were really down low. Ow, nettles. That was clever, picking them out by hand. So I'm tempted to leave them few on the surface if someone wants to munch on them. I won't be eating those ones now. Did find a couple of these as well, the potato apples, so I'll try and dry these out, see what happens. I'm wondering if I should actually try and put a bit of a cover over the top of there, make access harder. Just noticed a couple of panels there that I could utilise. Don't like putting too much shiny stuff about. The I found it all piled up before now, waiting for somebody to come back and steal. I think they got disturbed. I'll have a rummage, see what I can leave on top of there to make it much harder for anything to get in. It's been quite a hot day today. I think my car was showing 24.5 outside when I left work. It's still quite warm now. There's midges all over the place. I'm being attacked. Any of you have allotments yourselves? There's some persistent flies out there that just seem to want to land on your face and drink your sweat. So I'm just getting pursued at the minute, so I think I'll put my rake away, put my other tools away, lock the shed, and I think I'll be out of here for this evening. I will be back for a little while Friday afternoon, but I can't stay long, so I've got a medical appointment. So try and get in my greenhouse at home tomorrow evening, or I might come back here tomorrow evening and leave the greenhouse home till Friday. It's a bit easier. See what the weather's like tomorrow. But thanks for watching so far. I'll catch you next time. That should keep anything but the most determined creature out, hopefully. See what happens. Alright, see you next time. Good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. It's Friday afternoon. I can't stay long, just a flying visit. I've got a medical appointment in a bit, so I just wanted to duck in and do a bit of watering, especially in the greenhouse. Just looking at these. This is that bush ruby, it's called, a bush tomato. They look like they're going to be a bit stripy, which is quite interesting. So the remaining plants in here are all looking actually reasonable now. Even I think this one has a bit of blight on it, but the top growth looks good. There's a few, nothing else ripe just yet. Back illuminated there. But next stuff is ripening up. Dodgy leaf there. A couple of cucumbers forming up. There's one through there. There's another one hiding behind some of them leaves. Oh, a couple more along the where it's climbing. Well, I'm not going to make it down over the weekend. I think the weather's set to rain tomorrow, but it's good on Sunday. But I'm fishing on Sunday this time. I never made it last week, or fishing never happened, I should say. But definitely this week I'm assured. So I'll take you along when I go. Different venue this time, but. When I left work yesterday afternoon, my car was parked in the shade. It was showing about 23 degrees in the shade, and as soon as I started driving towards home, even at sort of 60 and 70 mile an hour where roads allow, temperature gauge was showing like 29.5 outside. So I got home yesterday, made myself a brew, got changed, sat down for a minute with the cat, and lights out, woke up about 10:30. So never made it into my garden even last night at home. So just drove here now. Car was obviously still in sunlight, but it's about 28 degrees, so it's still pretty warm. A load of this stuff is all drying off nicely. So I say I'm fishing Sunday, and I'm booked a day's holiday on Monday, so I might try and get down on Monday. Everything here is looking reasonable. These red onions are, well, there's a couple of them, they're bigger than golf balls now, so they're still growing. A few leaves coming back on the beetroot in there. All the onions have had it. I just had a bit of a rummage in these tyres, pulled out two and a baby, a couple of potatoes, so I'll give them a clean up and might add them to my dinner this evening, or make a couple of hash browns or something. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of potatoes, but while they're homegrown and they're fresh, I shall endeavour to use them up. Just noticed there's a little Probably can't see it from here, but there's a little green courgette forming over there, so I'll leave that for the time being, let it get a bit bigger. The rest of this stuff in here is still dying back, so I still need to finish off cleaning this stuff up, and I'll probably prune them gooseberries really right back so they're all on sort of fresh stuff next year, let them recover. And loads of raspberry canes. These things just migrate like mad under the ground, then pop up shoots, so I'd like to try and I've got a couple of spare these red sheets, so I might try and tailor the sheets to sort of fit around so it suppresses all the weeds and everything that grows around. And we'll see how we go. It's a good job for winter when everything dies back. But I'm going to head home now, so I'm pretty sure I heard on the radio that there's chaos on the motorway again, so could be fun. A couple of hours till my appointment, so I should get home okay. So thanks for watching. This will probably be the last video at the allotment for this week. I'll catch you again next week. Cheers now.